Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to Austin Sports Weekend with Austin the man himself here. We are down to the crunch time in the NFL. We need to cover what? Week 17 just finished?
Yep.
And we're about to jump into week 18, which is the last regular season week of the year. Before we get started, thanks again to SevereTV.com for setting us up a studio here. Thanks again for Autographs Plus setting us up with some cool helmets, sponsoring us here. We got our game of the week, I guess, ain't it? The Buffalo Bills, a little Josh Allen versus a little Tua here. But first of all, let's cover Week 17. So, because we had some wild games go on in Week 17 here. We had Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's start out with Thursday. We had the Jets, Browns, and the Browns. Man, they're scoring 30 points a game, ain't they?
Joe Flacco, the magic.
Scoring 30 points a game. That's just all he is. He came in, and he's a better fit with the Browns than he was with the Ravens.
They needed a pocket passer.
They definitely got a pocket passer out of that. But 37-20, that looked like a good game there. The most controversial game of the week was my Cowboys
And the Lions playing a nail biter.
and the Lions. Yeah, the Lions should have won the game on a trick play, a pass to an offensive lineman that reported as eligible to receive, but the refs got number 68, number 70 mixed up, and they didn't count him as eligible. And I did see Kurt Warner where he had posted that even if he had been eligible, he was actually covered up by another wide receiver, so he still would have been an ineligible receiver. Even if that penalty didn't go, there was another penalty there.
So
but
basically, you caught a break.
The Cowboys caught a break. They should have lost that game.
And they caught another break later on.
Yes. They caught a break. They won that game by the hair of their chinny chin chin. And then the Cowboys scored 10 points at the end and the 2-point conversion. Now, do you think he should have went for the 2-point conversion 3 times? I want your or should he kick the field goal and went into overtime?
Probably.
The first one failed, but it should have been good. Let's just say it should. The second one was a penalty
on Dallas. And then the next one, well, I would have just kicked the extra point there.
Yeah, the third time they went for the 2-point conversion to win, and
it fell short.
It fell short. Honestly, I'm sort of 50-50. I like his.
It's Military Dan.
I like his Military Dan attitude. I like that he went for it. And honestly, I'm more of the go for it type guy than I am. Let's see what happens in overtime, especially since he was on the road at Dallas. If he would have been home, then I would say, let's kick the field goal. Let's take the home field advantage and see if we can pull this one out. But since they were on the road, I do agree with the first time that he went for it. And I honestly probably agree with the second. I'm with you. Maybe the third time, I'm saying, man, this ain't meant to be. Let's kick the field goal and go into overtime. But they didn't, and Dallas got it, and now Dallas has got a chance to go way farther than what I thought they would. Now, they still may lose in the first round. This is Dallas we're talking about here. It's my favorite team, but it is Dallas.
It's your wormhole.
It's my little wormhole of exiting in the first round. But the Dallas won 20-19 on a wild game. Sunday, we had the Panthers-Jaguars. You got one more game, man. This season's almost over.
Oh, thank heavens.
26-0.
It's like wetting yourself on your graduation pictures. This is what this team is.
It is pretty bad.
They didn't score a single point. They pulled my leg. They tricked me into thinking they were getting better. And then you go out and get shut out and you do nothing.
Yeah, with a backup quarterback in. And then your owner throws a drink on the Jaguars fans.
That's what I have to deal with as a franchise.
And gets fined $300,000 by the league for throwing a drink.
That's what I got to deal with. I got to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, it's almost over. I really think the Panthers have a good team, though, and they have a good foundation for a team, and I think they will be getting better. I think this is the worst of it. I really do.
You sure?
Because I think
David Tepper has shown himself to be an awful owner in the past couple of weeks.
Hopefully the owner will get out of the way and let things get better. We hope.
But Jacksonville is...
It depends. They're still going to be looking for a head coach next year.
The 6th head coach in like 4 years.
So hopefully there's a new good head coach comes in next year and the team can move forward.
Welcome
Yeah.
to my wormhole, Dad.
Okay.
It's the David Tepper wormhole where we throw drinks at opposing fans.
And once we're down 26-0, lose it. Yeah. Well, we had the Dolphins Ravens. This was our game of the week, and the Ravens. We have to really
Think
take-
about that.
take them
Serious.
serious as the best team in football right now.
They're playing phenomenal.
I really thought it was the 49ers, and I was questionable on the Ravens because
Until they
they've
beat-
been they earlier in the year they won a lot of close games.
Until these last 2 weeks where they beat the snot out of both of them.
And the last 2 weeks they've played some of the best teams in the NFL and just kicked them down like just killed them.
They just whipped the 49ers last week, and now they treat the Dolphins like
To 56-19. You put 56 on the Dolphins. 56.
man. Goodness gracious.
So right now the Ravens are the best team in football. I would have put the 49ers ahead of them until last week when they beat the 49ers. And then they went into Baltimore and just killed the Dolphins. So you got to give it to the Ravens right now. They are the best team in football. And until somebody beats them, they're the best playing team in football right now.
Yep.
Ne-
Home field straight through Baltimore in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah. There's only one team that could maybe go through that and beat them, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. We got the Patriots Bills. That was a closer game than it should have been. Bills won
Isn't that a theme
27-21.
of their whole year for Buffalo?
Buffalo is super uber talented.
The coaching.
Josh Allen's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
It's just the coaching
in-
and the interceptions he throws. You're gonna get that with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Because he's a Brett Favre kind of guy. He slings
You know,
the ball around.
they had the bad offensive coordinator for the biggest part of the year.
Ken Dorsey.
Yeah,
It seems
Ken
like
Dorsey.
a few
And-
couple days ago.
And I think they're still stuck on that a little bit. I don't think
Joe Brady is.
Joe Brady come in and we thought Joe Brady would be really good at your Panthers last year too, and he turned out not to be fantastic.
It's the same here.
I'm starting to have my doubts in Joe Brady's offensive scheming skills, to be honest. But we'll see. He's too early. He's not been in the league long enough to call a bad coordinator. But I'm having my doubts about him, to be honest. But the Bills won. The Bills keep on winning. Honestly, I would probably, if there's one team I would not want to play right now, other than the Ravens, it's probably the Bills, because they can flex at any point in time and beat you. We had the Falcons Bears. Man, the Falcons are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Today they were Mr. Hyde.
And they got their hides kicked.
They got the Hyde 37-17. They lost by 20.
Although this was kind of bittersweet for the Bears because
Mm-hmm.
their late push was not in vain.
Yes, it was.
They would
yeah.
still miss the playoffs.
They still missed the playoffs. All of their fans are wanting to keep Fields, though. They were chanting in the game, keep Fields. So they don't want to go out and get a quarterback with the first round.
I think
What
the
they
Bears
could do
are kind
is-
of making the right decision.
What they could do is trade that first round pick and get a bunch of stuff for it. That might be what they need to do.
Or they could use that number 1 pick on Marvin Harrison Jr.
I would probably trade it because Marvin Harrison Jr. will probably still be their third, fourth pick, fifth pick of the draft.
But I'm high on him as a prospect.
Oh, he is, yeah. But congrats to the Bears. We got the Raiders, Colts. Goodbye, Raiders. They had a chance to make it into the playoffs, but the Colts won
nipped him at the
23-20.
nipped him in the bud.
Minshew mania.
Minshew mania. Who would have thought
He's
he would come
not.
back?
He's not a terrible quarterback. I mean, he seems to win a little bit wherever he's at. He's not going to win it all, but he wins a little bit wherever he's at. So, the Colts are still alive.
For a
and-
wild card and even a division title.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that next. The Titans at the Texans. The Texans beat up the doors off the Titans 26-3. The Texans are still alive.
And with C.J. Stroud
C.J. Stroud
back,
came back and they looked good again. What a surprise! He is probably our
Rookie of the year.
Our rookie. He is just fantastic.
he's played phenomenal all year.
He has
For a
played phenomenal.
rookie, he's
Yeah,
played
I
good.
think they've got a good team around him. A good set of coaches.
That's a testament to the Texans' management.
It is. Texas management, Texas coaches right now are in good shape. Honestly, I thought that Bill O'Brien might have ruined them farther, deeper down than what he did. But
All
they've
it
turned
takes
it,
is one trade.
they've turned it around pretty good now. They've got some good coaches, some good managers in there. So
and the Titans
kudos to
looking
them.
To wonder who they are in the offseason.
Yeah, the Titans got some soul searching to do, don't they? Figure out, are we keeping Henry?
Are we keeping Vrabel?
Are we keeping Vrabel? Are we keeping the quarterback? Are we stripping her down to the bones and going all new? I guess we'll just have to see, because they're going to have a pretty high pick, and they've probably got a lot of room that they could swap around and jump up to that number 1 pick if they wanted to.
Probably go for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, they definitely need some offensive linemen on that team. We had the Rams Giants 26-25 squeaker. The Rams are sort of like one of the danger teams in the NFC.
It's like vanilla ice cream that you cover with chocolate and sprinkles.
They could beat anybody on any given day. They are a very good team. That
they have just clinched the playoffs with that win.
They clinched the playoffs, so they are in the playoffs. And right now it's lining up, unless things change, for the Rams to go to the
Lions.
How about Stafford going back to the Lions for
How
the
about-
Lions?
And Goff going back to face the Rams.
And Goff going back to face the Rams in the playoffs.
Who would have thought that trade would be a win-win scenario, possibly?
Yeah, both guys went in and fit in pretty good with their teams. So
No failure.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. We had the Cardinals, Eagles. What?
The Eagles are slipping down a slope.
Well, they've lost 4 out of 5 now, or 3 out of 4?
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
4 out
They
of
are
5.
falling apart.
When the Cardinals come into your home and beat you,
there's a problem.
there's a problem, dude. Because
There's
the
a problem
Cardinals
in that
are
bad.
probably bottom 2-3 teams in the league.
Sirianni's got some explaining to do.
I mean, you got some explaining to do. That was bad. That was bad. Now, it's good for my Cowboys, because now the Cowboys are in the number 2 seed. After the debacle with the Lions, the Cowboys are the 2 seed, and all they have to do is win
and claim
Week
the 2
18,
seed.
and they will be the 2 seed and play through home and be able to stay away from San Fran until the FC Championship game, if both last that long.
That's
I mean,
wild.
They went from being on the road and
now
playing 2 or 3
Philadelphia
games.
just gifts your
And
team a home field.
The refs and Philadelphia just here, Cowboys, take the number 2 seed. I'll take it, but that was a very unexpected turn of events there this weekend.
Well, the Cardinals gave you some help, and that is one of those
The
things you just
Eagles,
don't
how
expect.
did you lose? I don't understand how you lose to the Cardinals right now. But you want to know 2 teams. The Cardinals have what, 3 wins? You want to know, is it 3 wins or 4 wins?
4 wins.
You want to know 2 of the wins?
What?
Cowboys, Eagles.
One of those was with Magic the Double Man.
Yeah, Dobbs beat the Cowboys, and now the Murray is
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray beat the Eagles. So 2 of the 4 wins of the Cardinals are against the powerhouse Cowboys and Eagles. Weird. It's been a weird year, man. Had the Saints, Bucks. What the heck happened here? Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
Just
I
go ahead and
told
tell
you.
me.
I told you.
Fool's gold.
I told you the Todd Bowles would find a way to Todd Bowles it.
Yeah.
This game, they looked unprepared to play football.
Yeah, uninspired. It was uninspired football.
And that falls on the coach.
Baker Mayfield looked like comeback player of the year. Looked like he had comeback player of the year wrapped up.
And then you lose to
And
a
then
mediocre
you
Saints.
lose to a mediocre Saints team at home and only score 13 points. That is the coach's fault, man. That's not the team's fault. They scored 30 points last week and on the road and won.
Have you
And then
seen Todd Bowles on the sideline? He shows no emotion.
No,
he's just stone faced the entire time. He doesn't talk to his players or coaches or nothing.
So it was uninspiring. The
But the
Bucks
Saints
are under it, probably with the best talent.
in the division.
The other teams have already chunked the coaches that were head coaches that were bad this year, except for 1 or 2. This may be the most underachieving team under
Any sort of head coach.
head coach going into the playoffs. Is this one right here? We had the 49ers Commanders. 49ers get back on,
claim top seed in the NFC.
and the Commanders are bad. That's
Like,
saying
really bad.
I think we've said the 49ers were best in the NFC and the Commanders were terrible for about 15 weeks now. So this game was no surprise.
they played 15 games.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Steelers, Seahawks. I told you the Steelers would find a way to win it.
It's Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is not going to have a losing season. That's what is it, 21 now in a row, 21 years something.
He made a bet with Bill Cowher that he would never
Never have a losing season, and he has never had a lose. I told you that they would win. It's 30-23, and they got a chance to even make the playoffs now.
And here
As
comes
crazy as
Rudolph
that.
the Red-Nosed
And
Reindeer.
here
at your
comes
quarter-
Rudolph. Here comes Rudolph. It wasn't just a Christmas miracle. He actually won a New Year's
It's a
miracle.
New Year's miracle
It was a New Year's miracle, too. Now, we'll see if this lasts, because guess what? They're keeping him
for the last game.
for the last game, even though Pickett
It was supposed to be their
is supposed
starter.
to be healthy. He's supposed to be healthy this week, so the little controversy going on there. Bengals, Chiefs.
How about that, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, the Nag is gonna go to the playoffs.
I don't. The Chiefs are overcoming the worst offensive coordinator besides Bill O'Brien. This is where the Buccaneers are the most underachieving team going into the playoffs. The Chiefs are the worst coached team going into the playoffs as far as an offensive coordinator. Nagy is driving.
nag.
He's driving that team into the ground.
He is
fast.
a Nag.
I'll say, I don't know how they.
Patrick Mahomes is so talented that he can take a Nag like Matt Nagy.
If they would have lost one more game and the Broncos had won one more game, they might not even made the playoffs. That's how close it was to the Super Bowl winning team that has almost the exact same players they did last year.
But we're talking about if the Chiefs had lost, but they won by 8.
Yeah, they won by 8. They beat the Bengals with that backup
They're
quarterback.
AFC West champions.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
for how many times in a row? Yeah, but they are going to play their very first playoff game.
On the road
They got to go
with
on the
Patrick
road.
Mahomes.
They got to go on the road. Patrick Mahomes has played how many playoff games on the road? None, 0. It's been at home.
I don't know
every
if
single
I
game.
really have much faith with Matt Nagy.
I do. I have 0 faith. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost their first playoff game.
There was a text that me and Dad were texting between the game. Will Nagy be nagging? And he
Yeah.
was nagging
He
throughout
was-
the
he
game.
was I thought they were going to lose there at one point, to be honest.
But Patrick Mahomes saves the day like Superman coming out
Like
of the
he's-
telephone.
He always
booth.
does. I just had to. When the magic runs out, though, the coaching cannot carry the team. It's either magic or you lose. That's what it's got to be. We got the Chargers, Broncos. Broncos found a way to win with the backup quarterback,
Chargers are
but they're
in
still out.
just
But they're
a
still out.
flux.
But they're still out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Broncos, I don't know. I'm starting to have my doubts about that franchise
And how it's operates.
and how it's ran, to be honest.
It's
But
ran by- Sean Payton didn't even want Russell Wilson on there.
I think Russell Wilson's time at the Broncos is over. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think he'll be back there next year.
He'll be
He had a $39 million contract this year that was guaranteed, and he had a $37 million contract next year that was guaranteed. And if he had got injured the last 2 games, that contract was guaranteed next year, whether he played or not. So you could see a little bit about, hey, maybe we don't want to
you
risk that.
realize how much
but-
dead money you'll have if you cut his contract.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's because he had a lot of. So I don't know.
That trade it looks like a disaster from Seattle now.
The Chargers and the Broncos almost look like the Spider-Mans, where they're pointing at each other. I think they're going to look very similar next year.
All right. Oh my goodness. I mean,
I think they're going to
They
go
brought in-
down quite a bit.
let me tell you something. I was trying to really think about this while you were talking to me about
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's time being over and all that such. Russell Wilson would be a good quarterback to have for anybody when he gets cut.
Yeah, he's a great quarterback. But he needs to be in the right system.
And
That's the
we're
only
talking
thing.
about a franchise that had Nathaniel Hackett as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got Sean Payton in there who doesn't even want Russell Wilson.
Sean Payton's supposed to be a quarterback guru, but I don't know. This whole situation just smells bad as far as management goes, but we'll see. We had the Packers-Vikings. Packers slammed the door on the Vikings' chance. Vikings still got an outside chance. They're 7-9.
There's no
They
chance.
need like 18 teams to lose in front of them for them to make the playoffs. So I really don't think that's going to happen. And the Packers still hanging on by a thread.
Yep.
They're in the playoffs. All right, let's jump into our Week 18 predictions. This is going to be a little hard to predict. There's a lot of teams that are sitting players this week that are already have positions, like jumping it. We got no Thursday games. We got no Monday games, but we do have a couple Saturdays. So Saturday we got the Steelers Ravens. Normally I would say Ravens all day long.
But Lamar's not
Lamar
playing.
Jackson is not playing, so I would probably say Steelers now. And if the Steelers win,
They'll be 10-7 and
they'll be
awaiting their
10-7
fate.
and awaiting their fate. They're gonna have to sit around and watch some games play
Yeah,
behind them
and
see
sweat
if
it
they
out.
can make it. Yeah, Pittsburgh's actually favored by 4 in this game now. It's flopped a lot the last 2 days, but I'm gonna take the Steelers -4.
And now the next one is a highly anticipated match.
Win, you're in. Lose,
You're out.
you're going home, son.
Texans, Colts.
Texans Colts.
Minshew or Stroud?
Houston's favored by 1.5. I'm going to take.
I'm going to take the Texans.
I'm going to take the Texans too. I trust C.J. Stroud right now more than I do Minshew. Minshew is pretty good.
But he throws a couple of interceptions.
He does throw some picks, and the Texans have a good, sound team. So I'm picking one of those teams to be in and one of those teams to be out. I'm taking the Texans.
Take the bull by the horns, you know.
Yeah, I'll take the ball, but I think the Colts will be going home. We got the Buccaneers, Panthers. If the Bucs win this game, they win the NFC South. Playing your Panthers.
Do you have any faith in my offense? Really?
Your offensive line, no. You need some offensive line, dude.
If you see Bryce Young in the pocket, he has like one
One
moment
point-
before he's in a
It's
body
like
bag.
1.8 seconds, and then he's getting ran over by people. Yeah. Tampa Bay's favored by 4.5. I think Tampa bounces back this game and
my
takes care
season
of business.
mercifully ends.
Ends, yes. Let's jump into my team. We got Cowboys, Commanders. Cowboys need this to be the number 2 seed. I think they will play everybody through the entire game. So I don't
And
think they sit
Washington's
anybody.
terrible.
Washington is terrible. Yeah, they quit probably 15 weeks ago. Dallas is -13. I think that's a little high. I don't know if Dallas wins
By 13.
by 13, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10. But I'm still taking the Cowboys. All right, we got Browns, Bengals.
Browns are not playing Joe Flacco.
Browns are not playing Joe Flacco. They're playing the backup.
That's more understandable because of the age factor. And
Yeah.
you don't want him to take a different step here or twist an ankle there.
No, yeah, he is 38, so he needs to be.
Rested up.
I mean, I'm a big believer in the keeping everybody in rhythm, keeping everybody. But I can almost understand it with him. He hasn't been in there the whole year anyways. He's only played 6 games, so his legs might be a little tired.
And he's about to be 40, so
Yeah,
in a couple of years, so you need to rest him
It
up.
will. It's not. It's
And
not.
you already got a playoff
It's
spot.
not going to be bad. Your playoff spot's not changing, so it's probably really not too bad. So I would take Cincinnati in it, just because of that. Because I think they're going to play all of their starters and try to finish with a winning season instead of a losing season. 9-8 is a whole lot better than 8-9. We got the Vikings, Lions. The Vikings again do have that outside spot if 18 teams lose in front of them.
But their offensive coordinator has had a bunch of issues.
They don't
their
have
offensive line is problematic.
Their offensive line is problematic. Their receivers
happens-
are problematic, and
What
the
happens,
Lions
Dad?
are mad.
And what happens, Dad, when you have the Vikings? You've had one quarterback, Kirk Cousins, out for the year with an Achilles tear.
I do like Kirk Cousins,
Joshua Dobbs benched because they thought he wasn't good enough, and that
even though he
was-
won 2 games for him. Yeah,
Nick Mullins, they benched him because he committed too many turnovers.
yeah, he did.
And Jared Hall didn't even last a full half.
Before they threw Mullins back in, and he
Something tells me it's not a quarterback problem you got there.
no, like I told someone once before that I knew, if there's a lot of problems keep going, maybe it's you. Maybe the Vikings need to take a little look back and say, maybe we just got a bad team. Maybe it's not the
Maybe the
quarterback.
offensive line sucks.
Maybe it could be, yeah. But I'm taking the Lions on this. Lions -3.5. I said they're mad, and they're at home.
And they're looking, well, what happens when you're Daniel and the Lion's Den? You've heard of the Bible story, right?
yeah. Mhm.
The Vikings are going to be Daniel, and there's going to be a bunch of hungry lions
I don't
around
think
him.
nobody's going to save them in this one, though. We got the Jets, Patriots.
This is
I don't know.
You got Nathaniel Hackett against Bill O'Brien. What a wonderful coaching matchup
What
to
a-
end the year.
I'm glad they made this a Sunday at 1:00 game so I could just skip it completely. I'll probably take the Jets.
Take the Jets.
I guess maybe New England's favored by 2, but I don't know.
This should be the last game that Bill O'Brien coordinates for the Patriots.
If not, then they deserve what they get because he's terrible. He's probably the worst.
The butt chin.
Yeah, we got the Falcons, Saints.
This is for a playoff spot.
This is for a playoff spot too.
Both teams could have a losing record, and the Falcons, if they have a losing record,
Could still get a playoff spot. Yeah. The Saints are favored by 3.5. I'm probably going to take the Saints again. The Falcons looked bad last week, but they are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They might be Dr. Jekyll this week. They might look okay. You know.
I don't know anymore with this division.
I don't know anymore either. I'm
There's so many
just
bad
going to
head
take the
coaches.
Saints because they're at home.
There's so many bad head coaches in that division.
There's some bad coaches. Yeah. We got the Jaguars, Titans. The Jaguars need this really badly.
And the Titans just they threw their season away long ago.
The Jaguars are winning their division. And
All they need to do is a win to clinch.
And they clinch us with a win. So I'm going to take the Jaguars again because I think the Titans would probably rather have a better draft pick than a win at this point. Seahawks, Cardinals. I'll take the Seahawks. I'll take the Cardinals win 2 in a row.
Seahawks needs a win and a Green Bay loss, I believe.
Yeah, to be able to get in. And that's the next game, Bears, Packers.
Oh, this is classic. Can the Bears play spoiler against their arch rival?
Last year, the Packers needed 1 win to get in. What happened?
They lost to Detroit.
Okay, this year, the Packers need 1 win to get in. What's going to happen?
They're going to beat the Bears.
They're going to beat the Bears. I think the Packers do beat the Bears here.
I don't know.
Because
I think Green Bay is trying to find their rhythm a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think the Seahawks get popped, and I think the
And I do
Packers go
think
in.
Matt LaFleur is a good head coach. Though.
He is, yeah. He's got a young quarterback, and
This is the
some
youngest
problems.
team in football.
He doesn't
per
have
age.
any wide receivers.
And that's probably a management problem. But
Yeah.
he's got the youngest roster in football.
He does, yeah. He's got some young guys. We got the Chiefs, Chargers. The Chiefs are probably not playing Mahomes either. Probably won't play Kelsey for the most of it because their position's not changing.
Well, I guess that gives Chiefs fans more room to boo Matt Nagy.
Do you think the Chargers might win? They're in San Diego. Their head coach is not there anymore. That was driving the team in the dirt. But they still got Kellen Moore, though.
Oh, Lord.
Kellen Moore's not.
I don't know. This should be the last game that Kellen Moore coordinates the Chargers.
Yeah, hopefully we got a lot of lasts around here if we want to see better football next year. We got the Broncos. I'm probably going to still take. I'm gonna take the Chiefs because it's the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers are
Yeah.
just the Chargers, man.
Although I don't know, Nagy. I think I'm gonna take the Chargers. Thinking about it, Nagy without Mahomes to save him may lose by 20. I think I'm gonna take the Chargers. Broncos, Raiders.
I've got Antonio Pierce's squad.
I got the Raiders. Yeah.
I think the Raiders. This will be an interesting thing in the offseason for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Do they keep Antonio Pierce or they go after someone else?
I think a lot of it might even depend on this game, how good they look in this game. They're favored by 3. I got them winning by more than 3. We got the Eagles, Giants.
Oh, you better not lose this game, Philly.
The Eagles
Or else
really,
the cheesesteaks are going to be thrown out the door.
if Dallas loses at Washington, which is possible,
It's unlikely.
then the Eagles could jump back up into a home NFC East win.
Barring if they lose to the Giants.
Well, so I think a lot might depend on this game if Dallas wins or not. If Dallas wins, then there's not a lot for them to do here. Their seed's not going to change or anything. I'll still take Philly, though. Rams, 49ers. That's a pretty nice game there. Rams in the playoffs. 49ers have home field.
So 49ers,
Do the
don't have
49ers
much
rest
to play.
everybody? They probably will rest. I know they'll rest Debo because Debo's a little injury prone, and he's the best player on the team. Christian McCaffrey may be the best player on the team, but Debo's the heartbeat of that team. When Debo's in, they win by 20. So I think they'll sit some people. The Rams might sit some people too. I'll probably take the 49ers just because the 49ers are at home.
Bills, Dolphins.
Bills, Dolphins. This is the game of the week. We got the helmets out here for them. Bills at Dolphins.
Who looks like
Winner-
the better team?
Winner takes the AFC
East.
East. The winner takes the AFC East. The loser goes on the road. Round
Or
1.
misses it entirely.
Or might even miss the playoff entirely. Buffalo could miss the playoff entirely with this loss if everything falls the way that it falls. They are right now. Buffalo is. Let's see.
All right. If Buffalo loses, then they would have to hope either the Steelers lose, the Texans or Colts lose, and they would have to hope that. Man, that's hard to think.
It's hard to think about it. Yeah, right now the Buffalo's 10-6 and have the 6th seed, but they could be out.
They
with a
gotta hope.
loss.
They gotta hope that the Steelers lose. I believe
Mhm.
if they lose.
Yeah, because if the Steelers win and Buffalo loses, I think the Steelers jump up
ahead.
because either the Colts or the Texans are in because they play each other. One of those two is going to be either the 6 or 7 seed, and Pitt could jump up to the 6 or 7 seed if Buffalo loses. So Buffalo's either going to be
A number 2 seed.
number
or
2 seed
completely
or
out.
out. How about them apples? You're a 2 seed or you ain't playing.
Wow.
Pick one.
That's cutthroat. That is cutthroat.
Cutthroat, ain't it? It's just brutal, man. That is
But
brutal,
unfortunately
brutal.
for Buffalo, I don't think I've seen enough consistency from them from week to week
No.
to warrant me picking anyone other than Miami.
Pick Miami. Buffalo's favored, believe it or not, in this game in Miami, just because they've got more to lose. But if the Dolphins lose, they do go to a road team. They go from the 2 seed down to the 6 seed.
Yikes.
So you're 2 seed, 6 seed, or 2 seed out if the Steelers win, which I think the Steelers
2
will
is
win.
the lucky number here, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be something here. But that's it. That's it for regular season football.
Oh, the postseason awaits.
Postseason, sir. Thanks for stopping in with us. Be sure to check out next week. We will recap Week 18, and then we'll talk about some playoffs coming up. Thanks again for Severe TV setting us up here. Thanks again for Autographs Plus, giving us a couple cool autographed helmets here. And thanks for stopping by. Be sure and check out next week for more NFL football.
See you next week.